And after university, I immediately actually started my first company, which was an e-commerce agency. 12 employees we had at the peak. You have to pick the right market and the right client for that. They buy cars on WhatsApp. We had also some project, for example, with H&M. We had a very sophisticated email outreach sales funnel. It's an API that goes from OpenAI to the server on the back end, and it's connected to WhatsApp. You don't have to have any front end. Now we actually got some acquisition offers on the business. Learn how to sell and learn how to build.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the CEO Journey podcast, where we talk about all things business and entrepreneurship. Today, I'm joined by a serial entrepreneur, Timo, and he also creates some amazing content on YouTube, etc. So without further ado, Timo, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. How are you doing? How's life treating you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the introduction. I'm in Bali right now, so life couldn't be better, actually. It's about time for sunset in 45 minutes. And we'll be going for dinner, sunset, and today is a Sunday, typical day. I actually love weekends here. I'm in a co-work space right now because it's only half crowded, but you still meet very, very ambitious people here in Bali, super ambitious people, I have to say, especially on the weekends. When these are the people that work here on the weekends, you know that they probably build some pretty good shit. And I love it here. I always thought that Bali is overhyped, overcrowded, and so on, what you read, and I was hesitant to even go. But now I'm really glad that I went. I'm now 6 weeks here, and meeting amazing people and perfect work life, I have to say. Yeah.
And have you been sort of a traveler over the years since you've been, building businesses? Have you been, sticking up in different countries and just trying out different cultures and seeing what works?
Sorry?
Have you been whilst you've been on this journey building businesses, have you been, going to different countries, exploring different cultures, and almost becoming what they call them, a digital nomad? People who, build businesses remotely, essentially. So have you had the experience of going from place to place?
Yeah, absolutely. That's basically been my lifestyle for the last 3 years, 2-3 years. I don't like being this digital nomad where you go every 2-3 weeks to another country and you never have a base, because I want to have friends at 2-3 places in the world, and I'll always hop around these places, basically summers in Europe, winters in Asia, and then somewhere in between some things. Yeah, I have a base in Austria as well, in Vienna. Really there as well. But now the winter is just perfect to be in Asia. Yep.
So I guess now you're sort of traveling around, building really nice businesses. But take us back to your early context. What was it like growing up for you? Where did you grow up? Were you always entrepreneurial? Is it something that you developed later on in life? Just take us back, Timo.
Sure, absolutely. I grew up in a small town in Germany. That's always people ask where I'm from in Germany. Nobody will know. It's called Constance. It's at the tip, at the border to Switzerland. The next big city is Zurich. If anyone knows this, it's a beautiful town, very quiet. But that's where I grew up. My family is not entrepreneurial at all, except my dad. I grew up with my stepdad, not with my dad at all. But my dad has his own business, but only a one-man business, and it's a brick and mortar business. But there was we did always vacations in Berlin, because my family originally came from Berlin, and there was my uncle, and he was always the one I looked up to in my family, because he had a big house, he had a big car, he had a lot of money, and I was always, as a kid, I was fascinated by doing vacations at his place. And later, when I was then curious about what people do, I found out that he was a business owner. He was one of the only business owners in the family. Ever.
What business did he own?
Man, he had a perfect business at a perfect time. I always think timing is like super, super important also with my current business. After World War II, he basically helped rebuild Berlin. He had, I think, multiple construction businesses. Also, where you, sorry for sometimes not knowing the English words, like when you have a bathroom and you do like the water pipes stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
Like German's perfect in this engineering stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's what he did. I don't know exactly the company. The company probably also doesn't have a LinkedIn because it was like 80 years ago or something. But yeah, that's what he did, like an engineer. Yeah, a German engineer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. So I guess you were always inspired by that, and then sort of seeing what he was doing. Like, what was his life like at the time? Was he sort of busy with work, or was he enjoying life? What period was he at when you were sort of inspired by what he was doing?
Oh, I mean, he was already retired. He was already like 78. So,
right.
But my dad has had a similar lifestyle, like on a smaller scale, I would say. But he's also like super happy person. He, sometimes on a random Wednesday, he calls me up. Of course, also when I was free, like, hey, you want to go skiing? And everyone else is working. That means the ski area is completely empty. The perfect conditions, like the day before it snowed and then it's a sunny day. And you go on a Wednesday. And I was like, how can you do this? Like, and because he is his own boss, he has his own business, even though it's like a smaller type of business, but he was always happy. He never complained about work, as a lot of other people that I know did always, oh my God, it's Monday again. So he was always like, oh, it's Saturday evening, of course I'm going to work a little bit and then I go party out there. And I was always fascinated by this lifestyle, basically.
Yeah, no, amazing. Like just on that point there, which is quite interesting, what you're saying about, being fearful of work. I think too many people, get to like Sunday and they're like, oh my God, a week ahead of draining shit to do. But if you have your own thing and you're fulfilled by it, every day is the same. And I don't know if you can agree with that.
Man, I wouldn't sit here with you if I consider this like being work or something. It's Sunday, 5:30 p.m., right? Most people say, oh my God, I'm going to do anything or something. But for me, it doesn't matter at all. Like there's no weekdays anymore, basically. And you can do basically whenever, whatever you want. And that's pretty amazing. Yeah. You can have the benefits of, traveling on a Wednesday when it's like maybe less crowded, or working on a Saturday evening when you just have the flow and feel like you just got inspiration for a new idea. That's useful. Yeah.
No, definitely completely agree with that. And what were you like at school as well, Timo? Were you sort of like a driven person academically, or did you have your mind set on other things?
I remember that my main teacher in Germany, you always have a main teacher. He kept me like, you will always stay like this medium person in school. Like in Germany, we have grades from 1 to 6. I was always between 2 and 3. Like I wasn't never failing or something, but I hated learning. I woke up 10 minutes before the class started and like rushed to school always. I live very close by. Still, you always come too late. Like always the person that lives next to school, they're always too late. They come always very late. And yeah, I did not really enjoy it, honestly. I don't think that I learned a lot. Probably, you learn some social skills, of course, in there. But this teacher was right. I was always this kid between this grades. But yeah, it didn't really bother me. I mean, I had my subjects that were super good in, like sports, like always best grade, or I really liked geography somehow. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I guess school wasn't for you at that point. And was university off the cards, or because I don't know how it is in Germany, but in the UK, for example, parents have this like set vision of their child going to an amazing university, and once they go to that university, they're all set for life in their eyes. But really, I think it's a complete opposite. You know, everyone goes to university. I mean, I personally think the learning's a bit shit. So I don't know if it's the same in Germany. You know, do parents have that same one-track mind of, you know, your kid needs to go to university, then go out and get a job, and life flows from there? And how did you feel about that, if that was the case?
Absolutely the same, I would say, especially if both your parents or the people that you grow up with, even if it's like a stepdad, if they went this route, they don't know another route, basically. And Germans, I think, are maybe even more like on this safety side than English-speaking countries. I feel like sometimes that there's more entrepreneurial spirit going on in UK, US, just from what my feeling. So yeah, definitely. That's, I think, over half of the people that graduate from high school, even more. I would say probably now it's 60-70% will go to university, to college. And I did the same because after high school, I was not yet there with my mindset that I immediately knew, okay, I need to start this business or whatever. So I first went to university, and what do you study when you don't really know what you want to study? You study business, right?
There is there.
Yeah, I wanted to go to a different country, so I moved to Austria. So German-speaking country, but it's like a little bit different. Vienna is like a super beautiful city, and they had one of the best business universities, like public, in the German-speaking area. And so I thought to myself, if I'm going to study something, then at least at a good university. And I actually also did my degree. I got my bachelor's there.
Okay.
Did
you do well?
Of course, there was. I did definitely better than in school. Yeah, I was not this medium type of guy anymore. I was one grade better. I wasn't the best of the class or so, because I quickly realized that I should only focus on the things that I really want to learn in university. And at these public universities, it's a little bit that there's a curriculum, and you have to go like 2 years with everyone else to the same thing. And I had terrible grades there, like absolute terrible grade, because I hated it. It was like school. But then the last 2 years, they were really good, I have to say. I did an exchange semester in the US. That was amazing. Then I chose my courses like what I wanted to, and met some good people. I would say, in hindsight, I wouldn't do it anymore, because I met some cool people, but that's it. Like, none of the skills that I learned there at public university helped me in any way for starting business. No,
that's very, very true. And like, if you put it in that perspective, it's an expensive social life. That's the term that we use in the UK. We say, you know, you go in for the social life, you go in for all the parties, you go in to meet people, but then what you don't realize is that you're paying, you know, 20 grand a year, if not more, in other countries for this education.
Not in Germany, Austria, it's free. So
free?
Yeah, that's completely free. That's why it's also so popular, I would say. It's such an easy choice to say yes to college.
Yeah.
And it's super, like, I knew people that studied for 8+ years, business bachelor. So you can stay in there forever, basically. You can just like chill your life away in university, because there's no penalties, there's no fees. And there's no pressure that you finish. Like, if in the UK, if you say you pay 20 grand per whatever year or something, then you have a huge pressure to finish this ASAP, right? And there is just some people. Had a guy that, like, in the 16th semester in his bachelor, I was like, that's, bro, what am I doing with you?
If you're going on for that long, how do you support yourself? Do you get like loans from the government, or would you have to rely on your parents to give you money every month to survive? I wouldn't know how it works.
I guess this guy didn't really put much hours into his study. So I guess he had like a side job, maybe some internships here and there. And also, I have to say, Vienna is a very inexpensive city. I did some videos on Vienna on my YouTube channel. You can, as a student, you can have a good life with below $1,000 a month, literally. And some people, they get caught in this comfort zone and they say, okay, I'm just going to make $1,000 a month for the rest of my life and I can live here. Which is a really dangerous place to be in, because it's like good enough, but you still have, I mean, I had, or I guess most people have this urge that they would like to have a better life, but they are in this like, it's good enough zone, and they don't have to do too much. But for me, I was never thinking like, oh, I'm going to live here forever on this 1K a month life.
No, not at all. I can like, it's just no ambition at the end of the day, is it? Like, where's your purpose then? Like, you're just getting by, aren't you? Like, so
yeah,
to me, and obviously you as well. Like, no, it's not a position that we want to be into. But yeah, so then after university, Timo, like, what did you go on to do? Is that when you sort of found your element with business, or did you get a job? What was the crack?
No, I had one job, like one real job. Once it was in sales, as an appointment setter during university. I have to say, one of the best jobs you can ever do is getting a sales job. Like, even it was just, I think, like 6 months. The experience you do there, like on my first day, they just said, "Here's 20 numbers. Go call these businesses." I had never done a cold call in my life, and I'm like, "What if they yell at me, or what the fuck?" And that's a really good experience. Like, I can anyone recommend if they're in college and want to do a job on the side, do a sales job. Like, it's absolutely invaluable skill. And after university, I immediately actually started my first company, and it was a great timing. It was COVID. Yeah, it was like April 2020. And with one of my best friends and one guy that I just got known, we founded our first business in Germany, which was an e-commerce agency.
Is it Zenavia or something?
Yep, Zenivo, yeah.
Zenivo. Zenivo. So yeah, talk to me about how how that came about. Like, what was the idea behind it, and sort of how did you move from, the idea stage to then having clients who you are servicing?
Yeah. The idea came from one of the co-founders, and he was a very technical guy, and the idea was to automate the writing of product descriptions. Okay. You have 10,000 items in your store, and you want to get these descriptions fast but unique because of SEO reasons and so on in e-commerce. Nowadays, of course, you say there's ChatGPT, right? What are you talking about? Back in the days, there was also OpenAI, but there were some other methods, and we used a different method to generate these descriptions for these e-commerce stores. He had worked in the industry before. He had also brought in our first clients already, which were quite big e-commerce stores from Germany, maybe like S. Oliver. It's like a big brand. And we immediately, from the first month, we already had our first customers, because he served these as freelancer before, and he just brought them into the company. But he wanted to have co-founders that helped him scale. Like because I studied business, he thought I'm a good fit. Probably you don't need to study business, but I'm good at marketing, and joined the company. And my other friend, he's good in sales and took over that part.
Lovely. Yeah, lovely. Okay, so it's almost like, so it's a copywriting agency, and then sort of like to bring it in. And did you know, like, obviously your partner who you started it with, he had like the contacts to be able to get some early clients. Did you sort of know that strategically before starting the agency with him, or was it, just a case of, okay, we started the agency, I've actually got these contacts in this space, I'm going to bring them in and we're going to do some work for them?
No, he So I met him the first time in my life, and the day after that, we founded the company. Yeah, it was quite spontaneous. But on that day I met him, he told me all about what he's doing, and it sounded all very amazing. And he also told me that he's already working with this. So I knew about the existing clients and that this is a valid business model at that time, I have to say. Things changed. That's why I left the business and afterwards, but we'll probably come to that later. So yeah, I knew there was existing clients and revenue. That's why I decided to join the company. At that time, actually, I have also after I started finished university, I started drop shipping. So like probably every entrepreneur once looks into drop shipping. It actually worked quite well, I have to say. I made some sales, and it was even profitable. But then I decided, okay, maybe it's not so sustainable. Let's start this company with my friends here. So I closed that shop down and started an agency.
Yeah, no, amazing. So how many clients did you have in total with the agency?
Clients, we had rather few clients, but they were rather big actually. We had also some project, for example, with H&M. Like it was because we had built quite good partnerships with other companies, and via this way we could get in and so on. I cannot tell you the total number of clients. Some were smaller, some were bigger. I can tell you we were 12 employees we had at the peak, 12 team members.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 12 employees at the peak, and big clients such as H&M, so big retail stores. And were you doing like cold outreach? So is it like your typical agency where you see people doing like cold emails and stuff like that to try and get more clients, or were you just positioning yourself in a good way to be able to form partnerships with these businesses?
Yeah. Partnerships was a big deal in this space, because enterprise clients are a pain in the ass, I have to say. Like hindsight, I would not do this anymore. The deal cycles are endless, and like it's sometimes 12 months until someone signs, right? Because but yeah, a good way to get into it was actually partnerships with companies that already had this company as a client, basically, and then you could get easier in. Cold outreach worked also quite well. Email outreach. We had a very sophisticated email outreach sales funnel. That was good. Cold didn't really work because there's too many gatekeepers in a big company like this where you have to get through. It was not really scalable. And LinkedIn ads was as well a good channel, I have to say, for reaching e-commerce stores, decision makers. The funnel there was that I had some kind of ad, for example, like before and after ads. They work really well, like before you have a service, after a service, and after then just a lead generation form on LinkedIn, because they're quite inexpensive to get the information. Then I would send over a Loom video to the prospect, and the response rate was always quite well to the Loom video. Then of course you go and hop on a sales call, discuss the project, and so on.
So it's actually very detailed. So obviously, like, you've got a clear set that funnel there, and you know exactly what's going to happen. But when you're positioning yourself and you're sort of like pitching to a potential client, how were you able to make their heads turn and say, yes, I want to go with this agency and work with them? Because I'm sure they would have had a lot of other agencies reaching out to them or in their pipeline that they could potentially have used, but they went for you guys. So why did they go for you guys?
We had a very unique offer. This automation of the descriptions is not really wasn't really comparable to other services, because it was usually cheaper than copywriting agencies, and usually even better quality. So it was, once they got the gist of what we actually do, it was kind of a no-brainer to work with this. I have to say, like, half of the team members of us were software engineers. So we built like an own software in the background that writes all that stuff. So we didn't write that things on, but we were kind of like a software company, but that sold a service, which in hindsight, I would have done it differently. I would have used software that we anyways have, make it self-service. Yes, you can charge probably less than if you do a project-based, but you get recurring revenue. With this project-based, it was usually like this, that they need maybe new product descriptions every 1 or 2 years. And then, you have a project and you get the money. You have to hire more people in order to get the project done. And then the project is finished. Then you have these people and you don't know if you get a next project next month. Horrible for planning cash flow, for example. Like, if I did an agency again, I would do a productized service that you can charge recurring revenue for, and you have to pick the right market and the right client for that in order to that it works. In our case, for the product descriptions, probably would have not worked because they frankly don't need every month new product descriptions. No store needs that. Or directly, if you have the privilege like we did, like having software in-house, just turning it into a SaaS, which is much more valuable. You can sell it. The agency didn't really have, I would say, in like value. You cannot sell it really. Yeah.
No, 100%. And you touched on productized service there. Like, if you were sort of like starting again in the service baseline, would you start productized service? What would you start it in potentially? And also, like, what is a productized service? Because it's becoming quite a hot topic at the moment. A lot of people are talking about it. It's almost like this alternative and the hybrid model between a SaaS and an agency. Just talk to us a bit about, productized service, and if you were going to start one, what would you start and why?
Yeah, the productized service for me is a very, very specific client, only one type of client, one type of offer. The offer is also clearly available on like a landing page or something. It's not like hop on a call or whatever. It's clearly available. The client knows exactly what they get and which time frame they get it. And it is ideally monthly recurring. Let's say, as an example, you run Google ads for local businesses and they know exactly what they will get from you. Yeah. They know exactly what it will cost per month. And you know exactly who your target those new leads monthly. And that is then like a productized service. It's not like I build you a website once and then it's finished. It's project based. For me, productized service is it is very, very simple actually, and it frees you up from, like, every business gets from all kinds of direction. You get inquiries, right? And you then immediately can say yes or no to these inquiries. Like, do they fit my product, like my productized service, or not? Because that is just so messy. If you are like cash strapped, then you do all kinds of jobs, like SEO job or website job, and you run ads or whatever. No, you should just focus on one thing, and also ideally one sales channel. Alex Hermosi did I think it was him, a good video about this, that you should choose like one avatar, one product and one offer or something, and go with this, and you can scale this pretty far. What industry I would go in? I think local. If I did start an agency, I would probably go into Google local ads. Okay. Helping someone right now, like a friend of me, who runs how is it called in English? A dating match. Like she matches people, like as a service. Like people who would. Okay. It's quite popular in Germany. Or maybe Germans need that. It's not a dating app, but you paid her 5 grand, 7 grand, 10 grand in order to find the perfect partner. Like she goes there, finds the partners for you, and it's super valuable for like CEOs or someone, because they don't have time to swipe like all day long, and then like go on dates, whatever. No, they want to find 2-3 people that exactly fit their matches. And she can charge a lot for this. And this is, for example, a good client that you could run local Google ads for, because it's super local. You will only like the client of her will only search, let's say, in Berlin or in London or Munich, or even in the local area of Berlin. You reach out to those businesses and say, hey, your competitor here is running Google ads. Why don't you do it yet? Let me help you for a month. Let's test it out. Let me generate you some leads. Maybe optimize their website a bit, and if they're hooked, if you can generate them good leads, then yeah, you have a good client. Yeah.
Interesting. So would you sort of like look to package that in a way that was, because one thing I sort of I get a productized service. I get, why people are starting to do it. MRR, you're focusing on the monthly recurring, like you're getting that positive cash flow in, and you're creating it around one offer. So, a client only comes to you for one certain thing. I understand that. But like, what are the pure benefits of like a productized service compared to an agency, in a sense?
What the benefits are?
Yeah. Sort of like from the client's perspective. So like, why would they go to a business, for example, that's, one offer, packaging it in one way without all the sort of direct communication that you need and that you have with an agency? Why would they go to a company that's offering it in that way, so product type service, over the agency where you've got that direct communication and everything seems more structured in a way? It's just, it's just a question I would ask, because I think productized service space is super interesting, and I love what people are doing with it. But I'm sort of trying to put my
the client's perspective.
Yeah, and sort of think, why as a client would I go for that over an agency?
I guess transparency.
Okay.
Like when you just hop on a call with the agency and you have no idea like what will later be the price, what will be the outcome, you would like to start actually immediately to get new clients. And then you have the guy you have a guy that has everything transparent on his website. Hey, this is what you get, right? This is what you pay. And sign up. It's my Stripe. We don't have to hop on a call. Here's my Stripe link. You can pay me, and we're gonna roll from tomorrow on. It's quite an easy choice. It's super transparent. I liked it. Like when I go to a website, I'm searching something. I need a tool or whatever, and then it says book a demo, book a call. We're gonna get back to you in 72. Yeah. I'm like, I don't have. Like I want help right now, and I think that's beauty. There's this guy on Twitter. It's called like Brett from Design Joy. I don't know if you know this guy. I think he drives this. He does this model like on hyper scale. I think he charges like 6-7K a month for design work or something. He does everything by himself, which is mental. But you go to his website, you know exactly what you will get. You know exactly his like guarantee or his you can pause or whatever. And I like this transparency, and I think clients like that as well.
Definitely. Yeah, I can definitely see that, and sort of like instant input. Well, sort of instant output when you make that payment. Getting value straight away. And there's a guy as well called Hunter Hammond. So he's basically got a company called Assembly, which is a holding company for loads of different productized service-based businesses, and they're all creator-led. So what he does, he'll partner with like a creator. So he's got one called Hey Friends, which is basically like a YouTube agency, but obviously a productized service business. And he partnered with Ali Abdul. So instantly he's got his like distribution. So it's almost like, talking about your agency, you came on with existing clients. So the model's proven. So instead of him going out there and getting clients, he's partnered with a creator who's got a great distribution network in that space. So instantly they've got the target audience, and then it flows from there. So yeah, he's probably someone to watch as well in this space. I think, I've watched.
I saw an interview with him as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant guy. I think one thing he said he regrets not doing earlier is building his own personal brand, because he has to now go out and find creators that have the credibility or be able to sell for him. And I think that's what he's doing right now, that he's going on these podcasts and whatever to build his own personal brand as well. It's like any powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense, I guess. And so I guess it's just a bit of an interesting tangent, to be honest. I just thought it was quite interesting route to go down, especially because it's incredibly hot at the moment. But yeah, in terms of, once you close the agency, Timo, once you left the agency, what was the game plan there? Were you sort of thinking about your next move? Did you have your next move in mind and know exactly what you were going to move into, or was it a bit more spontaneous in a sense?
I was very lucky that I left the business.
Okay.
And I think a week later, ChatGPT launched. The world was going crazy. And 2 months before, I met a random dude in Vienna that I became friends with. We met in the subway. So yeah, you can actually meet cool people in the subway. And we were like co-working, always he working on his business, I working on my business. And he's also a very technical savvy guy. Like I'm the marketing guy. And a day after ChatGPT launch, he came to me, hey, I built this WhatsApp integration for ChatGPT, basically, because he grew up in London. He's originally from Africa, and he says WhatsApp is like the communication platform there, and not only there, as we found out, in a lot of other countries, like Saudi, for example, they buy cars on WhatsApp sometimes, or they buy insurance on WhatsApp. So he built that. It's a quite simple like integration, like a ChatGPT wrapper, how people call it, right? It's an API that goes from OpenAI to the server and on the back end, and it's connected to WhatsApp. You don't have to have any front end. And he built that and said, "Hey, check it out." And I was like, hey, "This is pretty cool. This is, I think, pretty useful. Let me go make some short form content for that, because that is like the easiest way to validate an idea nowadays, I think." So I was actually at the airport. About to board a flight, and I'm like, okay, let me do a 6-second TikTok on this. I did that TikTok out the airport. I uploaded it before I boarded the flight, and 2 hours later I arrived, and the TikTok already had 5,000 views. On TikTok, I don't have a big audience, or something. I just used it here and there, but it doesn't matter at all on TikTok. You can get viral with 0 followers, literally. And it had already 5,000 views after this short amount of time. I was like, damn, that's cool. And then it just kept rolling. It was, after a few days, was it 100K views, 200K, 300K, 500K, got up to 1.7 million views, and got us huge amount of users for this product, and like completely free, basically, right? It was amazing. It was definitely possible because of the right timing, because it was just this initial huge hype, and ChatGPT was often down, so people were like searching for alternatives, and we're like, hey, we're up, we're on WhatsApp, like we have this API, it's not down, the API. So yeah, a little bit of luck and a good timing there. That was definitely the keys to success there. And from there we grew it. Yeah. From there we, like, it's a SaaS, right? So you go on WhatsApp, you can try it out. It's like ChatGPT on WhatsApp. Then after 10 messages, you get a paywall and asking you to subscribe to the service if you want to continue to use it. And a lot of people find it useful in especially in developing countries, that they subscribe monthly to it. and it's beautiful. Like it scales with media and code, basically. Like Naval says, the best the best the best way to scale is through media, code, or capital, not through humans, like I did in my previous business. We only could scale by humans mostly, and we always kept the team quite small. We had some external developers here and there, but on the marketing side, it's like to do marketing for a B2C SaaS or B2C AI SaaS. Pretty straightforward, in my opinion. You just create a bunch of short form content. You put it out there for free. The algorithm tells you which one is good or which one is not good. Once you find a winner, you take it, you run Spark ads, for example, on it, or you put it on other platforms. You run ads on the content until the CTR goes down, and then you create new content and repeat the same over and over. Again, you do some Google ads on it, and it's a beautiful business. Has like extremely high margins. Since half year, we don't do really any development at all anymore. I just do some marketing here and there. And now we actually got some acquisition offers on the business, which I of course consider if it's the right multiple for it.
Yeah.
So there was a long monologue. I guess you have some more questions.
Yeah, no, it's just super interesting because I guess first of all, what does an API mean? Because I'm sure there's quite a few non-technical people out there who wouldn't understand what that means. And I think just understanding how you can take, a OpenAI platform, take their API and then integrate that into other sort of platforms and have a use case, which then gives you a business. I don't know. It's super interesting. Could you sort of break down the technical aspects of that overall business in a sense?
So what exactly API stands for, I don't know. I am not a technical guy, but I know that an API gives you access to another company's data. For example, let's say Instagram has an API, right? If you get access, you can scrape some kind of data from Instagram, from the profiles, for example, and then you can use that data, modify it, sell it, monetize it, for example, right? And the OpenAI API allows you access to their models like GPT-3, GPT-4, Vision GPT. Now you can send pictures to the API endpoint, and you get back information. An API, in its sense, it's just a string of numbers and it's just in the code and an endpoint, and it's not hard to integrate at all. If you have no coding experience at all, there's tools like Bubble or Zapier that will help you integrate and even connect to the OpenAI API without you knowing anything, like just drag and drop. Of course, but if you want to validate an idea that you have in AI, that is good to use their tools. You can build it very quickly. If you want to scale it later, it's better to build it on a custom code basis, basically, because it's much cheaper if you scale. OpenAI or GPT wrappers are an insanely easy business model, because what OpenAI have built is like a new app store, basically. It's like a blue ocean. So many, how would I say? GPT-4 can basically answer you everything, can calculate you everything. It can now take any picture and tell you what is in the picture. It can generate you pictures. It can generate voice. It will probably soon be able to do phone calls. Something I'm very hyped about, by the way, of course.
That's amazing.
And the use cases are literally endless, especially also in boomer industries. Let's say we go like construction, right? There, a friend just yesterday told me he's gonna build a simple tool that takes every few seconds a picture on the construction site, sends it to the API, and it then gets back, because apparently in construction it's a big thing that the people do some mistakes, or they do things that are not in order with the like how they should do it, and they like it's almost like a surveillance what he's trying to build. But the GPT will analyze the picture and say, okay, this is going right, this is going wrong. So this is just one use case that is possible to do with this. And even I, as a non-technical, could build that very, very quickly. And you have a business that runs like that provides huge amounts of value, and the cost for it are like minimal. What we pay monthly for OpenAI is just like it's super, super cheap for this amount of value and computing power you get from the API.
Yeah. So would you have to use a platform like Bubble? And then, because I don't understand that, how did you go from getting, I mean, it might just be, it's just quite like difficult to wrap my head around. How did you go from getting the open source codes from OpenAI to then sort of like integrating that into WhatsApp? Like, how does that work?
Okay. Now so there's two different parts in OpenAI. So you see the ChatGPT window, right? Like you get answers. So that is the one part that is like for the end user to use, and you pay like your $20 a month for this, right? And then on the other side, in the back end, there is a whole, you can just Google OpenAI API. You go in there, you create an account, and I think they even give you free credits. You click on create an API key, and then you have an API key. It gives you full access to everything that OpenAI has built, basically. And you can use that key. And for example, if you just want to test out how this works a little bit, you go to Zapier, for example, and you say, you create a flow, for example, if this happens in the Google Doc, send this to OpenAI, give me an answer based on this prompt, and send it back. You don't pay then per month, like $20 or so. You pay then per prompt, basically per like how long's the prompt and so on, to OpenAI. So this is just, it's in the beginning, I also was like a little bit like, how does it work? Because I was non-technical. Now it's pretty simple to say, like, I mean, I could show you like the code or something, but it's in the code. The code basically combines like, let's say here's OpenAI, here's WhatsApp. Someone joins the WhatsApp chat. You say hi, goes here through. It says I received the message. The message is being sent to OpenAI and say, please generate an answer to this message. Then the API sends it back to the server. The server sends it back to WhatsApp and gives the answer basically on this.
Right. So it's almost like one big feedback loop, isn't it? In a sense.
Yeah, if you say so, I guess it's like a chat. You could also say OpenAI is just is your friend replying in real time all the time, basically. This is how it's just automated. Like it's the API is doing all the work basically.
And how do you tailor it for a specific use case? Like, obviously you spotted you guys spotted, the market for using it in a communication platform like WhatsApp. So how do you tailor once you say, right, okay, I know there's a particular use case where something like ChatGPT or whatever it is, built on these open source APIs would really really transform this industry, how do you then tailor it for that?
The tailoring or the training, as people call it, basically mostly all happens in the prompt. So you can input a huge prompt to every message that is being sent. You could do that. Let's say you build a what did I lastly talk about with this guy? An app that helps you find out what illness your plant has. Okay.
Yeah.
On WhatsApp. Let's say on WhatsApp. So you take it. You are able to take a picture of your plant.
Yeah.
And you take the picture, and you also say you can just send it to the WhatsApp.
Okay.
The WhatsApp sends it into the server. In the server or in the code, you have a specific prompt that tells you this picture that now comes in will be a plant, and your job is to find out what is wrong with this plant, or is there anything wrong with this plant, so that OpenAI knows what to do, like what should I do with this feature. Then it sends it over, the prompt plus the picture, sends it over to OpenAI, and you will get a response. The response comes back via text, for example, or via audio message, whatever, and then you get it back. And like this, you basically trained a bot for your own use case. So it's basically, any type of use case is imaginable by just doing the prompts. There is, this is the one thing. I would say 90% of apps or use cases can be built like this by just doing the right pre-prompting in the server, because the AI models are already that advanced that they can really then figure out the answer from just a simple add-on to the prompt. There is then more to this. You can build a knowledge base, for example. If you wanted to, let's say you build Andrew Huberman bot, okay? You want to put all of Andrew Huberman's podcasts into a knowledge base and be able to ask anything about Andrew Huberman, okay? He has, I don't know how many podcasts he has, probably 1,000 or something. That would not fit in this prompt. Then OpenAI would say this is too long. Then you have to do a little bit more advanced structures. You build a knowledge base. It's also a little bit technical, and then it's an extra step. It will find it in the knowledge base the right pieces. Will take the pieces, send these to OpenAI, send it back, and so on. But you can also do that. I built that once for like a Mr. Beast bot that helps people like grow YouTube. I just took all of his podcasts that he was in and talked about YouTube, how to grow. I just I took all this transcripts and put it in a chat bot, and now you could chat basically with Mr. Beast. So both of these methods are possible.
It's insane. And like, I guess, how do you find like a great use case in this scenario? Because I can imagine like you could build a bot or whatever it is, and you're training these models, and then if you don't have the right use case and you don't have a business, people obviously aren't going to pay the subscription. So how did you find like that use case, and like how would you what would you tell to like other people building these applications to identify a right industry or right use case to go after to make some good money from it?
I mean, I would first look a bit at your own problems. If you work in a company, for example, you will spot some efficiencies where you can find something. And man, I probably have like 20, 30 ideas for these bots already. What we're actually thinking of building is something where people that are not good in coding, that are no coders, can easily build a bot like this, like we have, receive payments for it. Like we built a platform that easily connects OpenAI and WhatsApp, and you just have to change the prompt, and you have an own bot, for example. so that people can test out their ideas quickly. And I think it's really about, maybe you have 5 ideas. You can validate them very easily with TikToks. You create 5 TikToks accounts. You make a few videos about what your idea is, and whichever gets the most traction, you just follow. And idea generation can also, of course, be done hand in hand with GPT.
Yeah.
That is also possible. What I'm quite excited about is like lead generation bots as well. Like let's say from a Facebook ad for an agency, for example, right? Like from a Facebook ad, you when you fill out a lead gen form, you immediately get sent to a messenger where an AI will be able to set an appointment with you. Instead of having to wait, like instead of having the form being sent to some person and then maybe 12 hours later or so they get a call, right? They probably already forgot that they even sent the form, like with this short attention span nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is quite valuable to build for agencies, for example.
Yeah, super valuable, super valuable. And what makes these businesses acquirable? Why would someone want to buy a business like this?
Recurring revenue.
Okay, yeah.
And probably good integratable into other areas. You mean like, for example, the appointment setter bot?
Well, no, I mean like, obviously you've got some acquisition offers on the table, which is completely confidential. But like, what makes a business like this like a good acquisition target for either another business or someone?
Yeah, recurring revenue and data, I have to say as well. And so if other AI companies want to use all the data that we have from all these millions, tens of millions of messages, that could also be quite valuable. So I would say revenue, data.
Amazing. And what's next on the horizon for Timo, and then what are you building next then?
As you see, I have always a lot of things going on in my head. I'm even like AI spaces, because it's such a rapidly growing market, there is so much potential. On the other side, like it's something completely different, but that I've been focusing on for the last year as well, because I had an accident, is health and productivity optimizing, like for myself. It's now 6 p.m. I haven't eaten yet, for example. But
my apologies.
I feel no. I feel absolutely great. I feel absolutely amazing. I have never had such a high focus in my life before, because I looked at how my day is like. Okay, I woke up and sometimes I ate like immediately like carbs in the morning or something. I crashed immediately afterwards, needed coffee to get back up and so on. Like all my school time was like this. And I managed now to basically completely eliminate brain fog out of my life. Like I don't get this like afternoon crash anymore or something, and especially as an entrepreneur, when you run a company, you want to have as much as possible hours where you are hyper focused. Like I don't know about you, but for example, when I have 4 to 5 hours where I'm like hyper focused, I don't even want to touch my phone or anything. These hours are often more, or like always more productive and valuable than like 20 hours of shallow work, right? Where you do a little bit like Gmail, you do some research or whatever. No, like you want to get these hours in where you do the shit that you actually need to do. And for this, you have to have this super clear mind, hyper focused. And there's a few things to it, like sleep, working out, when to take caffeine, and when to eat. And it's I now have like a pretty, I would say, like perfect routine. I love watching these guys like Brian Johnson, Andrew Huberman, and I take notes from all of them and kind of build my own perfect system for like an entrepreneur that can basically structure their day as they want. Also, like when I have meetings and so on, I don't have meetings in the mornings ever, for example, and that's just
no, that's that's amazing. So like obviously, low carbs, ultra focus. So you're saying like chicken and eggs and all that sort of stuff. So just talk us through like your daily diet, in a sense.
Oh, daily diet, yeah. So I do intermittent fasting. It's like 16 to 18 hours every day since years already. I only started drinking coffee recently, like a year ago, and now I need coffee every day. But it's also amazing. Especially like I only drink cold brew coffee anymore, no milk, and like 90 minutes after waking up, you have to delay it a little bit according to Andrew Huberman, because otherwise you get an afternoon crash because of some reasons that I don't want to be too detailed. You delay it by 90 minutes, you get the cold brew, and then you have a focus until like 12 p.m. At around that time, I go then to the gym. I'm still not hungry then because of the coffee, and after the gym, I'm then quite hungry usually. I'm like at 2 p.m. I will have my first meal. That's usually protein and vegetables together. So no carb basically at all. And then there's another work session in the afternoon, and I will have my latest caffeine around like 2. Also after that meal, maybe like a matcha, not coffee, not too much caffeine. So you can sleep that also in the evening if you have your last coffee at like 6 p.m. or so. For me, it's very hard to sleep.
Yeah, you screwed at that point. Yeah. But
and
sorry, go on, Timo.
Oh yeah, and so you get very good afternoon as well. Like, I mean, if you imagine your hour is worth like whatever $2,000 or so, and you get more productive, really productive hours in the day, it's so worth it to think about the routine and not just eat whatever and let yourself like go from the muffins or the donuts that someone studio offers never that would never happen. And after you get then all your shit done basically in the day, then it's like carbs is always like carbs are amazing, right, to eat, but for me they are like what do you say,
a reward,
like a reward in the evening. Exactly. And they're like in the evening something with rice usually, and as well proteins.
Amazing. And what about like waters? Because I know like I don't know who said this. So like I think it's Luke Belmar, who I've watched quite a few of his videos, and he talks about like tap water versus pure mineral water. I don't know. Do you follow that same trend in a sense? Because I can sort of get it. The water in London, for example, is absolutely disgusting. Like that thing will turn yellow within a week. Like it's so weird. And so I can sort of like see the benefits now. Like given that your body is composed of X percentage of water, which is obviously quite high, you want to be putting the right shit in there, to be honest, don't you? So like what's your crack with that? Like do you stick to a certain water type?
In Austria has, in Switzerland, they have some of the best tap water in the world. It comes like directly from a source in the mountain, and it still goes through a pipe. That's the issue. It goes through a pipe for a little bit in the city, but I use a purifier at home, and then this water is really good. I also did some water tests actually, and it's very, very, very good water. You cannot compare it to, I mean, in US it's like it's absolutely shit, the water, for example. So I get why Luke says that all the time. In like these alpine mountain areas, you can drink tap water, in my opinion. And I also drink water there. Here in Bali, of course not. Like you would get sick. You would get Bali. You drink the water here. You don't immediately. No, I don't even brush my teeth with the water here. Here I buy usually glass bottle water from the supermarket. That's that's the only solution. Otherwise, you buy plastic bottles again. And the glass bottled water is, I think, from mountain here, so it should be fine. Yeah,
should be okay. Well, no, amazing. Like that tangent was sort of, it's good to understand like your routine, and you're obviously, incredibly disciplined, which is hard to come across nowadays. I overall think it's a good place to round off the podcast, Timo. But before I do that, I always ask one question, and that is looking at how far you've come from where you started to where you're at now. If you had one bit of advice you'd give to someone out there who is 18 years old and you can put yourself in their shoes, what would that piece of advice be?
I would say learn how to sell and learn how to build.
Learn how to sell, learn how to build, right?
If you can do both, then you are unstoppable.
Yeah. And is that in anything? Like you can do anything with that?
So if you can build like in code and you can sell, for example, you can sell through marketing, short form content, you have a huge skill set. Or you can do high ticket sales. That's another very demanding skill set. You're good for life. You don't need to study at 18. That's the advice. That's what I would have done. If I studied, I would have done CS for sure, because that's a real skill. Or just don't study at all and just YouTube University, basically.
Yeah, no, definitely. Great bit of advice there. And thank you so much, Timo, for hopping on the podcast. Really appreciate it. An amazing episode. Learned so much about you, and people can learn more about you on your YouTube channel, which is obviously your name. And you've got a decent amount of subscribers on there, and you produce some amazing content. So if you want to get a bit more of an insight to Timo's life, then please check that out, see what it's like, see the amazing content he's been producing. Any last words for the viewers, Timo? Anything you'd like to say to round it off?
Thanks a lot. If you are also into this like health journey, also feel free to check me out on Instagram at timo.nikolai. Feel free to DM if you want to optimize your health and productivity in a day.
Yeah.
Other than that, have a great rest of your Sunday.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Timo. And for the viewers out there, please stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you.